Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on our channel Collect 4. I hope you guys have all enjoyed the content up until now. Like I say, it's going to be a very small start. It's a small channel. It's a brand new channel. And we're going to grow it bit by bit by bit. And the way we do that is with consistent content. So here is yet another video for you guys. Those of you that have joined us on this journey, I implore you, as you watch the videos, go out and try and do a few bits of what we do. And it's possible. I promise you it's possible. So many people that watch the old Fuzzy Garms channel, or I talk to on Twitter or wherever, started doing this stuff and they've made money from it. And I'm not saying you've got to go out and start a multi-billion-pound company, but if you're at uni, if you could just have a little bit of side income coming in bit by bit, then fantastic. Or if you're like a second jobber, I guess, whatever it is, there's potential to make money. With that in mind, you guys will know in the last episode we talked about, the episode before that I think it was, we talked about the businesses we have, and one of them is Tsunami. We've just set it up. It's a second-hand shoe shop, mainly dealing in trainers, and we've just set it up. It's about a week old. We've already had our first sale. Yellen should be able to get it up on screen right now. It was a pair of Air Max 90s, I believe, black ones, black leather. I believe we paid like 20 quid for them all in shipped, and we sold them for £40 shipped. So after you lose fees on that, you're looking at about £15 profit, give or take, and that's great. For us, that's fantastic. You can't argue with that. It's nearly 50% return rate on it. Some of them will make more from, some of them will make less from, but it's a starting point. And the whole point of Tsunami is, with the Fuzzy Garms and with the Collect 4, we make a lot of money very quickly. Stuff gets flipped on very quickly. So we buy, list, sell. Tsunami's a bit more, let's go and put a couple of £100 into some shoes this week, leave them listed there. And bit by bit, the more we get, the more they'll sell, and it'll start to cycle. And that's how it works. And with that in mind, we sold them on eBay. So we're going to talk today about what to do on eBay and what not to do on eBay when it comes to buying and selling, the important things you need to remember. So we're going to head over to eBay and our eBay store for Collect 4. I'll see you soon. Alright guys, so welcome to our eBay store for Collect 4. Now this is a specific store. This is where we buy and sell all of our Pops, our Funko Pops. And eBay, I will maintain it. It can be a pain in the backside sometimes with people and whatnot, but it's still one of the best places to sell anything, especially second-hand things. Purely because people know what they want, they go to eBay, they type it in, it comes up, they buy it, okay? So it's always worth being mindful of that when it comes down to it. Now, we've had this store open since the 20th of July, 2021, as you can see there. And in that time, we've sold a lot. We've got 116 items at the moment. We're going to add another 50 to that in the coming days. 116 items listed at the moment, and we've yet to have a negative feedback on our eBay because we're very stringent in what we do. Like, we do a lot of it. Like, if you think we've had 82 feedback, 78 of them item as described, which is vital to us. Vital. And that's vital to eBay full stop. But first things first. First thing you want to do whenever you start up an eBay store, get yourself a little logo. It provides validation for your store. It really does. If people see a blank page, they look at it and go, meh, it's okay, it's cool. When they look at your profile initially and they go, hang on, that's got a bit of time's gone into it. They've got an actual logo. They've got they're taking time to really let see their identity and who they are. People buy into that, especially early on. Because when you're selling stuff initially and you haven't got any feedback, people are put off. People look at this feedback here and go, hang on, there's no feedback there. Do I trust that seller necessarily? And sometimes you do get scammers on eBay. They'll have blank profiles, they'll list something up, price is too good, you buy it, you get scammed, they closed up the account and take your money basically. It happens. For someone else that's looking at it going, hang on, do I trust this seller? Well, yeah, I do, because they might not have any feedback, but they've got an awesome little logo, and they're not expensive. You can get one done on Fiverr. Mine's done by my editor on YouTube, obviously, but you can get it done on Fiverr, and they go, okay, cool, pretty cool logo, let me look at what they've got to sell, and that's where you start. That's literally a starting position for any store whatsoever. We're at the moment sort of what you call a personal store. Probably next few weeks, month, we've got to go to a business store realistically and go to an eBay shop because we're selling too much. But we have a lot of, it's called allowance, of selling allowance. We've managed to negotiate that up very quickly because we've sold a lot very quickly. But that's what I'd start off with. Your identities is vitally important. Get a name. We've got a snazzy little name, Collect 4, play on words with Connect 4. We do collectibles and whatnot. So it worked really well. We really liked it. So we did that. Identity is important. But the single biggest thing on eBay is what I just spoke about a minute ago, and that is this. Item as described. eBay is notorious for people complaining about items not being as they described. So, I'll show you one of our listings. So this is Punisher, okay? Just a random SBC, a random Pop. Selling for £8, £3.50 postage. And we always do it, Champions box in really good condition, okay? So anyone that buys a pop, like you list it up and you say, for example, it's the condition is used, I love whatever they want to do, so condition used, items been previously used, see the seller's listing for full details. Everything we do on this is used because we've basically gone and bought it, someone had it before, we're listing it on. Even if it's in brand new condition, we never list it as brand new because it's not brand new. It's not brand new. Someone's listed it. Someone's had it. Someone's used it. Whatever. So we always list it as used. For two reasons. Number one, that's what it is. Number two, it also tempers expectations of buyers. If you say brand new, they're expecting perfection. If you say used, then they might accept some sort of minor flaw in it potentially. Especially if you've listed it down here. So we always list our flaws. So this one here, Punisher 2099, which is what it is. So that's another important thing. When you're listing anything, make sure you really, really, really get the detail of what it is. So for us, Punisher 2099, Funko Pop, the number of the Funko Pop we've gone for, content of champions up there as well. Should be a space in there, I'll check that in a minute. But as much detail as possible in that little bit there for the search, and that's fine. Clearly what says what it is there, it's in really good condition, very little flaws with that, it's fine. However, we've got this giant man. And we've sold a few of these before, and we've got this listed at the moment, and it isn't perfect. So we've got used again, as it is, and we've got Giant Man, Captain America, all the details that you need, right? And we say it's very minor fading, and the lid isn't perfect, okay? And where we can, we try and show people. So there's that there on the lid, we'll try and show it, and on the pictures here, you can see there's fading, but whoever had it, left it in the sun. And so what we do is we put that on the listing, okay? And there's something else you've got to think about. If you're doing your price researching for eBay, and you see that pop, for example, and you see it sold for 10 quid. If you've got damage, you need to allow for that damage and lower the price because, again, it tempers the buyer's expectations. If they're paying the market price for a pop and it's used and you say the damage and they get it and they're not very happy about it, it causes a headache. If you've listed it and listed it as used, if you've shown photos of the problems with the pop or whatever item it is you're selling, if you said on the listing it's not in very good condition, there's this wrong with it, and you've lowered the price for it, eBay are always going to find in your case because you've done anything. So anytime a buyer comes along and says, nope, I don't agree with it, rubbish, terrible, blah, 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 it goes to eBay and eBay turn around and they go, okay, cool, we're going to look at this and decide in whose favour. And they see your listing and it says there's damage on the lid, it's got sun fading, it's used as it is, I've listed the damage, I've shown the damage, I've lowered the price on it because of that reason. eBay 99 times out of 100 will find in your favour. If you list that as very good condition, blah, 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 you're going to lose. It's as simple as that. But that's the point about them. Detail is key on eBay. Detail is key. And it's vital that you understand that the more that you list and the more that you do, the easier it gets to sell stuff. Because as you build up your page and get feedback, people come to trust you, okay? So let's talk about the next thing we talk about, and that is listing itself. As you can see, we've got all these listings here, right? So listings from Collect For, okay? We list in bulk. We don't list one item at a time. We list in bulk. And when you first start your store, it sounds really stupid to say, get a few things together and list, okay? Don't list one thing, then wait for ages, list another thing. Yes, you might sell that item, but if you can get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things, it looks better as a shop. There's people that say, if you've not listed what you've got, you're losing money, and that is true. But when you first start your store, you really want to start it with a bang and you want to be able to put 10, 12, 13, 14 things on there, whatever you want to put on there, because it looks better. People say, oh, hang on, it's got loads of things on this page, so it must be relatively genuine, it must be cool, I'll take a punt on it. And then moreover, they might go, I like those trousers, let's say you're selling clothes, I like those trousers and that top. Can you do a deal on both? Now, we don't tend to reduce the price of our Funko Pops because they tend to be the lowest on the market in terms of price, but we do combine postage. Because it's better for us. We can send out 2 Funko Pops with 1 set of postage. The buyer saves money. We save packing materials. Everyone's happy. And that works out perfectly for us. The more you've got, the better it is. And that's what you want to do. To start your eBay shop up, you want to have a lot of stuff. Once you've got stuff listed, just get it on. So let's say you've got 15 things listed. You've launched your store. 2 days later, you go out and buy another 10 things that you list and you sell on eBay. Go and list them up. The moment you get something, list it up, list it up, list it up. If it's not listed, you're not making money. It's as simple as that. If people can't find it, you're not making money. And I can't stress that enough. Detail is key. Numbers are key. The more you have, the more you sell. For example, Tsunami, we had 3 pairs listed, no sales. 8 pairs, suddenly got a sale. Amy, I think we've got another 10 pairs on the way. 18 pairs, we'll probably see a few more sales. And bit by bit by bit, it builds and it builds and it builds. And that's why it's vitally important that you just have as much listed as possible, but you list in the right way initially, and then it gets better and better and better. Okay? So vitally important. Next thing. This whole feedback thing we were talking about a minute ago. It works both ways, okay? Go out of your way to leave feedback on people's pages. Anyone that buys from you, go out of your way to leave feedback for them. Because it's a little call to action for them to leave feedback for you. Okay? Now, if you're worried, you can just drop that buyer a little message and just say, hey, did you enjoy your pop? And they might message you back saying, yep, absolutely loved it. And then you struck up a conversation and you can say to them, would you, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave us a review or a bit of feedback, whatever it is. It might be a review on Depop or whatever. And they go and do that, and it boosts your store because suddenly you've got 82 sets of positive feedback and no negative, and it's boom. It's fantastic. People are like, hang on, I can trust this seller. I can trust him. Loads of great feedback. And what you do then is you also build up a rapport with that buyer who might turn around later on and go, oh, do you remember me? I really like one of your pops, another one of your pops. You might go, actually, let me give you a little discount and sell to them. And they come back to you and back to you. We've got people that have bought 10, 20 pops from us that we want since we've listed them. And they've come back to us every time because they know they're honest about what damage there is, if there's damage. Our postage costs are competitive enough. If you look at this, 82 feedback and 72 people have said our postage costs were 5-star. A couple of people might complain and go, oh, I wanted it free or whatever. We charge $3.50 for our pops. Now, the postage on a second class is $3.20 anyway. I won't get too much into postage, but we'll talk about that in a second. But it's about getting as much reviews as you possibly can and you talk to people. It's so much fun to get to know people. And they're like, hey, how are you doing again? I'm like, I'm great. How are you? They're like, I just saw that on Instagram. How much is that going to be when it comes on? Or actually, we're not going to list it. If you want to buy it direct, you can. There's loads of things you can do if you build up your basis on eBay. It's a fantastic place to be. So realistically, let's sort of sum up the bits and bobs we've gone over so far. First things first, identity. Get one straight away. It's vitally important. A cool name always works. A cool logo always works. Hasn't got to be anything spectacular, but just a decent little setup that you can have. Next thing, always list honestly. Say everything that is wrong with your item. Or if there's nothing wrong with it, say it's in very good condition. But if it's not brand new, don't list it as brand new. List it as used, always. It tempers the buyer's expectations, like I say. And if there are flaws, just list them. You'll be surprised at how much you sell, even though there's flaws on it. So long as you've priced it right, and there's a little bit of a discount there perhaps, and so long as you're honest about things, you'll sell a lot. And people will be happy about that. They have no qualms. Make sure you leave feedback for people as much as you possibly can so they give you feedback too and build up a rapport with your customers. And finally, make sure you've always got stuff listed. Initially, get a bunch of stuff together, list at once. And after that, just keep adding it. No matter whether it's one thing you've just gone and bought or 10 things, keep listing. The more you have listed, the more you will sell, the more that people will engage with you that way. Simple as that. So those are the basic overarching things. And let's talk about now you've made your sales. You've made your sales and you've done whatever it is. First thing to do, make sure you contact your buyer at any point and say how you're doing. Like I've just said, it's vitally important because you want to do that, okay? You want to do that. You always want to make sure that they're happy with their purchase, as simple as that. But prior to that sort of comment, first thing, dispatch quickly. Don't be the person that gets lazy and sits there for 4 or 5 days. Get your items sent as quick as you can with tracking ideally. Firstly, tracking is vitally important. We're going to talk about postage as the most important thing in a minute about eBay, in my opinion. But tracking is important. Number 1, it protects you. Number 2, it protects your buyer. And number 3, it helps get your money released quicker. If you're putting tracking numbers on everything you send, in the long term, you'll get your money released quicker because eBay will come to trust you as a seller and they'll release your money a lot quicker. So tracking numbers on everything if you get them, okay? If you get them. Tracking numbers and everything. Make sure it's there. It means the buyer can look it up and they haven't got a headache. You and say, where's my item? You're saying, well, actually, it's there. You know where it is. You can check it by tracking it. It tells them what it's going, all right? So that's vitally important. Tracking number where possible. Make sure the postage is done quickly. Very, very quickly. I can't stress that enough. Get it sent. The quicker you get it sent, the quicker you get paid. Simple as that. Once everything's all been done and whatnot, make sure to use social media. This is vitally important for eBay or for any buying or selling page. Set up social media accounts for those pages. And every time you make a sale, every time you send something, every time you do anything to do with a transaction, post it. Show everyone, look, I'm selling things, buy from me. Look, I'm selling things, buy from me. And the more you do that, the better it gets because more people interact with that page. And they go from that page to your actual selling pages, and you make money from them. You guys remember the last video we brought out, we showed you the Funko Pop, the Holy Grail Funko Pop. We have already got a buyer lined up for that. It's still going to be listed. They've made us an offer already because they saw it on our social media pages, and they'll probably head over to eBay when we list it. If we list it on eBay, unless we discuss with them the price we get for. It's very much be mindful of that. As we're talking, by the way, just made another sale in Tsunami. Things you'd love to see. I think we have anyway. Something's just come up, so we'll know or not. But it is awesome. It's a really, really good place to be. But that's the basic gist of selling on eBay. There's obviously a lot more to it, and it does come with trial and error. But the single most important thing on eBay, in my opinion, is postage. I'm going to be blunt with you. I can't stand Hermes. I will not use Hermes if I can avoid it. They're an awful, awful courier company. They've lost so many of our parcels over time. So many. DPD I don't mind. But I'm going to be honest with you. The best postage company, in my opinion, in this country is Royal Mail. Simple as that. Royal Mail, you know what you're paying for. You know what you're sending for. You know that there's usually always tracking on them. And they're usually very good to deal with if a parcel does get lost. They're usually very, very good to deal with. Royal Mail are some of my favourite people to deliver with. But you'll choose your own parcel place that you prefer, okay? Now, the important thing that I've always said about postage, some people on eBay do this thing where they list an item really cheap, but list the postage very, very high. And back in the day, that used to be a very good method of selling items. Because someone would click on an item, go and buy it for £7, and then not realise that the postage was going to be £6. So they pay £13. Whereas you go, right, I'm going to sell it for £9, it's more expensive than you're going to buy it for, but our postage is only £3, they save themselves money. And yes, it got stuff sold, but it's kind of frowned upon now, and it can lead to a lot of negative feedback from people because they now show this here, the postage costs and whatnot, and you want it to be as high as possible. So my basic advice for you is charge what postage charges, what it costs. Don't charge more. So for example, our Funko Pops, we charge £3.50 postage, okay? When you send a pop, £3.50 postage. That is $3.20 for second class delivery of Royal Mail, and then 30p for the bubble wrap we use, the box that we use, and any other packaging we need to do. And we don't make a penny from our postage because we're not supposed to. We're charging the buyer what it costs to get them to it. Why am I charging them more? I have no need to at all. And in fact, like I said before, we combine postage if need be. So with Royal Mail, 3 Funko Pops in boxes because we put them into a box. 3 Funko Pops in boxes are the same price. It still classes as a small parcel, I believe it is, a small parcel. So it's £3.50. A medium parcel, we charge £5.50. So anything over 3 becomes a medium parcel. So that's important. Package your items as if you would like to receive them yourself. So we sent some shoes earlier on. Shoes are very tough and strong and whatever. No, I still wrapped them in bubble wrap. I then wrapped them again in bubble wrap. I then put them in a closed bag, sealed it up, taped it up, and sent it like that because I would want to know that the person who is sending me my item is looking after it. They care about me and getting my item properly, and they care about the packaging that they do on their items, and they go, okay, there's respect going into this. I want to go back to them again. For our Funko Pops, for example, they all get their own individual box. We only buy recycled boxes too, which is another way of minimising our footprint. We'll talk about that in another time. We wrap them in bubble wrap. They get their own individual box. We wrap them in parcel tape, and then we get one roll around it that says fragile. I don't know where it is. I think it's over there. We have parcel tape and fragile tape, and it says fragile. So that buyer that gets our item knows we've given it its own box. We've wrapped it in bubble wrap. We've cushioned it to make sure that it doesn't get damaged. We then go and put fragile tape on it. So I know we've warned Royal Mail, it's fragile, be careful with it. So if anything does get damaged and they come to us and say, listen, that's arrived damaged, they will know we've done everything we can and it won't affect our feedback. Very few people will then go, well, I'm going to leave them negative feedback anyway. Because what you'll say to them is, here you go, here's your money back. You'll go to Royal Mail, you'll send them a photo, say this is damaged, we've done everything that was needed, you've still damaged my parcel. And literally 99 times out of 100, they go, here's your money back, we apologise for that. Compensation covers you, okay? So that's important. However, final point on postage. In fact, on this in full stop with eBay, bear in mind the cost of what you are sending. Let's say we send a pop that is worth £5, okay? £5 pop. We will send that standardly second class, normal compensation, no problem. But if we buy that Hulk, that red Hulk, for example, when we showed you last video, it's worth like £300, that Funko Pop. If we go and send that, we would never dream of sending an item like that second class in the post, okay? Let your postage reflect the cost of the item where possible. So, for example, we sent those Air Max. we make sure that the compensation that covers them covers the cost of the Air Max we sent, okay? But if we were to send something really expensive, like that Red Hulk that we want to sell, we would send that special delivery, so it's compensation up to like £500. So if anything does happen to that pop, if in transit it gets lost, if it gets damaged, if anything happens to it, we are covered. We know that pop is whatever it is in that condition. We have that there. It is covered, and we have no qualms and no problems about it whatsoever. It'll go in a hard stack. Make sure you package it up perfectly. Let's say you go and sell. Let's say you become a guy that sells, I don't know, computer games, and you sell an Xbox One. You want to wrap the hell out of that. You want to wrap the hell out of the inside, the outside, and make sure that it is received by your buyer in perfect condition, so they cannot complain about what happens, and you've covered yourself. And if it doesn't arrive there, the right compensation level for your postage will help you out in the long term. But that's a basic thing to look at. In fact, I don't even think that's basic. That's quite a detailed look at how to sell on eBay, how to sort of set up your store in terms of getting going, and then how to continue to sort of sell there and do well from it. That's what you've got to be thinking about as much as you possibly can. Most important thing about eBay, sell something you know about. Don't just go, right, I'm going to sell photo frames if you don't know anything about photo frames. Sell something you know, you have in detail. So whether that's fashion that you're good at, you love like your Nike shoes or whatever it is, whether that's pops like we do, or if you play Yu-Gi-Oh cards, anything you know in detail, that's where to start. And if you're not sure, I would say to you, go and clean out your house. Go into your house and get everything you can possibly get, right? So stuff you haven't worn in ages, stuff that hasn't been used in ages, list it on eBay and start your shop that way. Sell those bits and then go, right, I've now got a budget to go out and buy some stuff. But I digress. We'll talk about that in more detail. That's what to think about when buying and selling on eBay, specifically selling on eBay. But if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe down below. Make sure your notifications are turned on so you never miss an upload. But for now, I'm out. Peace out. I'll speak to you soon.